Hello, welcome to episode 27 of How to Play Like a WAP Pro. Today I'm going to be showing you two replays in the Progetto 46, where I'm firing full AP, and I carry two different games with high damage. So first, we're starting on Paris from the West Spawn. I decided to go with my HP loadout because I'm going to be brawling for most of this game. The matchmaking is very good. It's tier 8 matchmaking against tier 7s. And what I like to do on this side of the map in medium tanks and heavy tanks as well, in general, is to head directly to this location right here, right away in the battle. I always turn my turret sideways in case the light tanks get spotted yellowing the middle. But the position you want to take immediately is one of two positions. So there's this position where I'm going to right now, and then there's this position right here. And they basically do the same thing except they're slightly different. This position is slightly safer because if an enemy gets around here and takes up here, or if they go all the way over here and take here, then you're safe playing right here. But the reason why I go here instead is from this position it's easier to shoot if enemies yellow down here right away. You can get more shots in. And so that's what I do. I go for shots on people yellowing down. Now, I don't pen either of those on the Curevettes. I have never faced that tank even once, so I had no idea how to pen it or if I even could pen it. Unfortunately, I get snapped by the Progetto as well, and he hits me, so I had a pretty bad start to this game. I only get off 2 shots, and I take like 750 damage in return. But now that the enemy has already pushed in, I decided to take this safer location, because at this point there could be enemies back here, since it's been a little while. And I just want to see if anybody is still crossing, because the point of this position is to shoot this cross right here. That's the main point of this position. But I actually decided to poke on this T-29 instead because I see he's over poking, but unfortunately there's somebody just sitting back there waiting for me to poke. They could shoot these guys on the corner, but this Basante wasn't poked enough to spot them, I guess, or this T-25 AT. So that's why I didn't realize there was anybody there, is because I thought that they would have gotten lit shooting at these guys, but they just weren't shooting at them. They were just waiting for someone to poke wider in the position I was at. But I decided to go for a cheeky shot on the ISU. And I hear him fire, so I go for a second shot. Luckily the VZ doesn't penetrate me, and I get 3 shots in return. So even though the start of this battle was pretty bad, I still did manage to get out 1500 damage. So it's not the end of the world. I can still make this work. But now we're into the stage of the game where it's harder to do anything. You really have to rely on enemy mistakes for you to do much. Now if you're in a heavy tank, like especially a fast heavy, you can start up here or over here. But usually you want to take this position in the beginning because it's a great haul down and it sees people as they come around this corner here. If they come around this corner, then you'll just get free shots on them hull down. But I see the Oni is flanking behind me. Now I really don't want to get shot by him because that would make me a one-shot, and if he has a derp gun then he can one-shot me, so I'm poking this corner very carefully. Right now I'm trying to bait him into driving forward so I can get in 1 free shot. And I see that he fires as well, so I'm just gonna totally unload my clip on him. Now I'm just waiting for both of them to fire, waiting for myself to get a couple of my shells back, and then I'll poke again and put out 2 or 3 shots. Now here, I want to kill this E25, but I can't cross over here. Because if I do, if they have any snipers that are sitting back here, like back here, then they'll just kill me on the cross, so I can't do that. And I get shot by a Leo, the tier 7 Leo, who I know is up here, so I'm waiting for a KV3 to light the Leo. I want to stay on lit, and then once the Leo gets spotted, then I'll poke and I'll shoot him. Fortunately, I miss. Now here I could shoot immediately, but I decided to wait for my second shell before firing because I don't expect him to hit me. And it pays off because I get both of the shots in. If I just fired immediately and then went for a second shot, it never would have worked. But I can see now that they're in our base already, and I'm trying to get safe from them because they're soon going to be behind us. But while this is happening, I need to be careful of angles from over here where the T-32 is and where the ISU shot me from previously, or where the ISU was previously. But I see they have an AMX M4 behind this guy, and I'm expecting the AMX M4 to push up as well. So I'm just sitting in this bush here waiting. And I actually see the Leo, but unfortunately I miss. And that's really unfortunate timing because the second I fired, this guy came around the corner, so I actually get lit for that. So this guy could easily kill me right here. I go for a tracking shot. It wasn't really the best shot, but I didn't want to miss either. So I just snap off my last shot so he doesn't finish me off. And now I just want to get safe because I think we're going to win this fight over here because we have this 703-2, and that's what I'm hoping for. And I see that this T-32 is overexposed. Now this is a very risky poke, but I feel like I have to do it because I don't have many other opportunities. So I go for a couple shots of damage here, and I get both of them. We're kind of getting surrounded and we're down HP, so I feel like I have to make a play or else we're just gonna lose. And here I decide to hold the angle. So whenever an enemy gives you an angle for free, like if they back off around an angle, there's no reason why you shouldn't just hold the angle, because if worse comes to worse and they poke the angle, you just shoot them once and then back off. So there's no reason not to hold the angle here, because they're not pre-aiming me or anything. And I actually go get greedy and go for a second shot there, and it even works out, which is great. I kind of did that because I assumed this T-32 is not a very good player, just judging based on how he's poking me. He's poking side on and he's rushing his shots. So I can tell he's not very good. He pokes again, actually, and I get a very nice second shot in. Now we're up to 5.3k damage, which is very nice. Here is I make what I consider a mistake. So I see this ISU fire, and I really want to kill this ISU. But poking up here was very risky because they still have a VZ-44 behind this building right here in front of me, who could have poked on me and just killed me because I was way too far out in the open. So I think that was a mistake by me, but I didn't get punished for it. Now I see this guy making pressure, and this is the hold down spot that you want to take in heavy tanks in the beginning usually, where you can just play hold down right here and you have shots right up into here, and if anyone comes around the corner you get easy shots on them. But this guy is kind of distracted, so I'm gonna go for a poke on him, but I want to be a bit careful in case he changes his attention to try to kill me because I'm a one shot. But I just decided to shoot all of my shells on him, which, you know, you could debate that I should have only fired 2 shells or something, but I think it was probably the best play just to unload my full clip on him. And luckily he doesn't kill my teammate, so now he's not just pre-aiming me, he's occupied with another tank. So my goal right now is just to wait for him to fire or to turn away his attention long enough for me to poke and hit his cupola 3 times to finish him off. There I go for a very quick snapshot. If you don't feel like you have the mechanical skill to go for those kind of shots, and you think you're just gonna get punished for it, then just don't do it. But I felt confident enough that I could go for it. You have to know your own limitations when playing. I thought I could pen his lower plate there, but apparently not. With AP, because I'm firing full AP in this replay. So now we're up to 6,700 damage, which is already a very good game. And I'm hoping this T-32 will overpoke, and he actually does. Now the reason why I left this position right here in the first place, instead of just staying there and waiting for this Amex to fire, is because I know that the Arty, if he sits in the correct location, he can actually hit this, I'm pretty sure. I don't know exactly what the arc is on the GW, but I'm pretty sure it's good enough to shoot that location. And I'm really trying to push my damage here in this replay, because in my opinion, what makes a great game in a tier 8 medium tank or heavy tank is over 7,000. And if I can get like 7,000 or even 8,000, then I would be very happy. So I'm trying to play a little bit aggressive here, even though I'm a one-shot. But this ISU here, he's pre-aiming on me, but I know that my teammate is going to flank him in a second. So I'm waiting for this ISU to proxy spot this guy. Once he proxy spots this guy, then he should start turning, and then I can go for 2 free shots on him. So as soon as my teammate shoots him, I just go for him, because I know he's going to start turning. It's a shame I couldn't get all of the damage on him, but it wasn't worth risking just straight up poking him when he's pre-aimed on me. Now this battle is still close, but we're looking a little bit better because we're facing tier 7s and we're all tier 8s. And I decided to flank all the way around and just pre-aim in case that their Leo or their IKV tries to escape from this side. So now they're going to be kind of trapped in this little alleyway here, because our 7032 is pre-aiming the other side of this alley, so they're going to be trapped. Now here comes probably the most unfortunate part of the replay. I try to go for damage on this GW, and I actually miss all 3 shots. And I really want to finish him off, but I just miss, so not ideal. And I'm gonna go for 1 more on him, but that also misses, so that's like 5 misses in a row on that guy, which is pretty unlucky. But this guy is a 2-shot for me, and he's not paying attention to me right now, so I feel pretty confident, especially with this dead tank here, that I'm gonna be able to poke him and kill him without him even being able to react in time. But I was actually wrong. He was actually pre-aimed at me, and he would have killed me. But he has a small gun, so I got kind of lucky there. So I end up with 7,300 damage and 150 spotting. Let me quickly show you the post-game stats. So here you can see 7.3k. My base XP was 1900, which is pretty good. It's pretty close to the elusive 2k base XP. I guess because I was firing at tier 7s, that's probably why I didn't get it. But I got 240,000 credits, even with only just a personal reserve running, no clan bonus. So yeah, pretty good replay. Let's go on to the next one on Himmelsdorf, where I believe I get like 9 kills or something. So now we're on Himmelsdorf North Spawn. I decided to take my gun handling loadout. I don't know exactly why I did. Mostly because I thought I might have to shoot up at the hill from down here or something. And I just felt like having more gun handling, to be honest. I don't really know exactly why I picked it. I could have picked HP easily, but just didn't feel like it. Now in Himmelsdorf, in a medium tank, there are a lot of different things you can do. You can go hill, although to be honest, especially from this side, I just don't really like it. It's just not that good, because unless you have turret armor, you can't even play this spot right here. And even if you don't, have turret armor, then you're kind of just playing on a corner, just hoping to outplay them, basically. You don't have any kind of real positional advantage, you're just trading with enemy tanks, which I just don't like doing. It's just not ideal for having big damage games. So instead I opt to go middle in the beginning to try to get shots on enemy tanks that might want to go up through here to take this window, or enemy tanks that are late to crossing through the base. And as you can see, I get a free shot because of that. But one play that I want to show you on this map in particular, from the North Spawn, is making it to this position here in G2. You can do it by YOLOing like this right off the bat if you really want to, just instantly. Especially if you're in a medium tank with a little bit of armor. You don't want to like drive directly to it like this, it's just too risky, but you can also go on the inside of the courtyard and cross to it. There are many different ways to get there, but probably the safest is to go down the 2 line like the Ferdinand is doing. But I'm not interested in taking that right away, because I see some opportunities for potential damage here. Still, I'm hoping that this guy will back up and that I'll be able to shoot him like 3 times. Unfortunately, my shot goes between his turret and his hull, which, you know, it's just great. RNG. And he shoots me on the move in return, so I trade negatively. That's just RNG, so nothing you can really do about it. I wasn't expecting him to even notice me, so kind of unlucky, but as you can see, our Lorraine took that position, but he's not playing it very well. He's kind of just poking in the open and taking a lot of damage for no reason. But I decided to try to follow in his footsteps and see if I can play on that corner. But on the way over here, I find a Caliban on the side of the hill who I can shoot up at. And that's one of the things that you can do from this area in general, just from like around here, over here, in this little gap here. You can actually get up into this by driving up like this and shoot the side of the hill. That's especially good on encounter mode. It's not as useful on standard mode, but it can still sometimes happen where an enemy will decide to push on the outside and you'll get free shots. You just have to make sure that you don't go too wide, or else you'll get shot down this alleyway. If you hug the inside, then it's fine. I have a shot here, but it's not a great shot, and I only have 1 shell left in my chamber, so I decided not to take it. And here I see the SU poking. I'm hoping that he won't shoot me, and he doesn't, but I missed my shot on him because I aimed badly. But now I'm thinking about trying to see if I can spot these 2 tanks here. I don't want to just sit in front of a TS5, but if he's not side on to me or something, then I'll shoot him in return. But he is actually looking at me, so I can't manage to shoot him. But the thing is about this entire area, especially back here, if you're going for side shots on the hill, you can only really get those shots if the enemy wins the hill. So the fact that I'm not on the hill is probably why we're losing this game. And I say we're losing this game because we're losing the hill, which is the more important position on this map. That's usually where the battle is determined. So if you want to make sure that you win the game, going hill is probably your best option in a medium tank, or even some heavy tanks like a Kron or a Chieftain. But I just decided to go low because I feel like I'll get more damage down here. But now I go to the spot where the Lorraine was playing and I find some free shots. Arguably shouldn't have taken the third shot there, but I decided to do it. And you'll see it costs me because I'm not fully loaded for this Progetto, who's flanking around the hill. So I only get 2 shots instead of 3. I'm hoping to reload a second shot, and I do, but unfortunately I missed the last one. But reloading the second shot there was a smart idea because he was completely in the open. He wasn't going anywhere for the next couple seconds. So waiting for my next shell, either way I'm gonna get out at least 1 shell, and then if I reload the second one, then I might get out another shell. And in the tier 8 Progetto in particular, it's not really a big deal to shoot your second shell. It is more of a big deal to shoot your third shell, but even your third shell doesn't have the longest of reloads, so it's not a huge deal. But the biggest difference is between the second shell and the third shell. So the first 2 shells, they have maybe a 1 second difference between their reloads. It's like 6 seconds, like 6.2, and this one's like 7.2 or 6.8. This one is like 9.2 to reload it, so you really don't want to fire the third shell, but if you fire the first 2 shells, it's not a huge deal for your DPM. Here I'm just hoping that their UDAs will poke and shoot our KV-3. Because our KV-3 is pretty exposed to the UDAs right now. And I'm still looking for shots on the hill. No, I realize that they're eventually going to take behind us, and so that's what I'm kind of thinking about. That's what I'm thinking about. Once they get behind us, they're going to take our base, and then the game is going to be really in bad shape because they'll be pressuring us from the north, which will spread our forces thin because we'll have to go to decap, and our 2 heavies here will be left out to dry. So instead of just going back to base to defend it, I want to push this SU first and just hope that I can deal with the south as quickly as I can before dealing with the north back at our cap. So here I decide not to shoot him with my next 2 shots immediately. I decided to reload my third one because I didn't realize that our Panther was pushing this. I thought it was going to be me all alone killing this guy. And if it was me all alone killing this guy, then reloading my third shell would make sense because then I would have 3 shells to finish him off all at once instead of firing all my shells and having to wait 9 seconds for my last reload to finish him off. But as it turns out, it was the wrong play because I don't get as much damage as I could have on that SU. I could have gotten 1 extra shot, maybe 2, if I just unloaded right away. Well, it would have been 2 extra shots, or 1 extra shot, I mean. But now that we won the south, our 2 heavies have died. I want to go back to defend the cap. And I'm always using the HP feature in the game to see what HP the enemy tanks have. So I know, for example, that if anyone else is behind this Progetto, which there is because the cap just went off, they're most likely going to be like half health or less, because that's what the HP feature is telling me. Now, if you want to turn that on, I believe that's under. Don't actually know, to be honest. It's in general settings. It's right here. It's show vehicle HP on the minimap, and then I do upon pressing Alt, and then vehicle HP and team panels I set to always, so that this always shows their HP. Takes a little bit to get used to, but it's definitely something that you need to have. You need at least one source telling you what their HP is. And here I get a lucky high roll on their Progetto, although it probably wasn't a huge deal because I would have just shot him again and then I would have just had to wait a little bit longer before I could kill the Eagle 7. And here I go out and just finish him off, and now we're in a much better position in order to win. Because the enemy has 2 artillery, so even though this looks like it's a 6-on-3, it's actually more like a 4-on-3. And all of their tanks are low HP, and I still have most of my HP, and I'm an autoloader, and so autoloaders in the end game are usually very powerful. Because you can just take a one-on-one with an enemy tank, and then they're oftentimes low enough HP where you can just one-clip them. So you take one shot, and then you finish them off with your clip. Now I know that this Caliban is pushing up, and I want to get in position here just to pre-aim him. I don't know whether he's going to come through this pathway here or through the courtyard, but I'm pretty sure he's pushing because that's what it looked like he was doing. So I'm just going to sit here and pre-aim. And I get 2 shots in, which is all I need. Because now that he's at 1 shot, it's just whoever clicks faster. Now I want to get off my second shot just in case I miss my first shot, because if I miss my first shot, then he will be able to put 2 shots into me, because I'll have to wait for my reload. But if we click at the same time now, then I'm pretty sure I out reload him, because I think his intercup is longer than mine. I could be wrong about that, but he misses his shot there and I get a snapshot there, so I take him out. And then their Chi-Ri also pokes me, so I kill him as well. And now if we lose this, then it's really our own fault, and we should feel bad about ourselves because we're playing against like a 1/3 health E25 and a 1/3 health Udez, and I'm like full HP almost. So I poke here, kill the E25. Now it's a 1 versus 3 because their Udez kills my teammate, and I noticed that. I know that this Udez killed my teammate because I'm paying attention to this. So the only place that he could have died from would be B0, so I know that their Udez is in B0. And so I decide that I'm just gonna risk it and push their Udez. Or maybe I don't. No, I don't. Not immediately. I decided to do this little boost here. If you didn't know about it, it's pretty easy. You just drive over this. And I'm gonna go in the courtyard and I'm gonna pre-aim A8 in case he comes off of the hill. That's my first reaction. But I know that I'm way higher HP than him, and I have an autoloader, so I can just kill him. And so I'm pre-aiming through this gap here, hit a really nice shot on him. And I decided to just push him because I'm pretty sure that their Arties were last spotted here. I know that their Crusader SP is still here because he shoots at me in a second, I think. But I'm expecting their Arties to be on the hill, basically. And so I don't expect there to be anybody covering him here. But as you can see, there's actually an S51 right here, which is the worst case scenario. So suddenly what looked like an easy win could now easily be a loss. So I just finish off the Udez. I try to use his wreck a little bit. And then, as you can see, I'm moving back and forth, trying to ruin his bloom. And trying to get distance between myself and him. And then I quickly skirt into cover and I use a handbrake to get my ass out of the open. And right now, yeah, that's when I figure out that the Crusader SP is still like in this area probably. And I want to get unspotted here. Now the reason why that matters is artillery has terrible view range, and so even if I poke out into the open after I'm unlit, he won't be able to spot me because I'm 280 meters away. I need to be within like 220 meters for him to spot me or something like that. So he takes a blind shot out of desperation, but there's nothing he can really do once I got out of there. So I got kind of lucky that the S51 didn't just snapshot me. But to be honest, I don't really know how I could have predicted that their S51 would be an A9. Like, that's just kind of crazy. And I go down the middle and I actually find their Crusader SP trying to escape. And I still have 5 minutes on the clock, so I can take my time trying to flank, but really I was just trying to cut him off so that he couldn't escape down the one line. Because even though capping would work just fine, I want the damage. And I know he has a small gun, so he can't one-shot me. He can't even one-shot me with the big gun unless he pens me. So I just go behind him and I catch him off guard and I take him out. So I end up with 8 kills, 5,700 damage, and then like 100 assists. So pretty good carry. Let me show you the post-game stats real quick. So 5,700 damage, like I said, 8 kills. Got 1,800 base XP, which is pretty solid for a tier 8. Especially firing full AP. And I got 220,000 credits with a personal reserve and with battle payments like a clan reserve. Pretty good battle. So hopefully you learned a few things watching this, or maybe you're just entertained by the replays. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.